I want to play interim head coach Thomas Brown from San Francisco, Santa Clara to be exact, after today's game.
I'll start with what I kind of addressed with the team. We got our butts kicked. There's no other way to say it. Always be straightforward, honest, and open about things that transpired. We're going to do a better job of putting together a better game plan on both sides of the ball so we can execute better and obviously continue to challenge our guys to be at their best. Also encourage those guys and also demand that we still stay unified. It's a grown man's business. There is no lay down or quitting our football team, which I do love. We're going to do a better job of trying to find ways to start the games faster.
I don't know if Thomas said it like this, but we got our ass kicked today, and there's no way around it. You can, like you said, they had, I think at one point they had going to half, they had 240-something, I believe, and we had 4 total yards. So that's, I mean, that's regardless of how we feel, regardless of, you know, all of that, we got it handed to us. And so, you know, as offense, defense, special teams, myself, we got to come out and be better.
Guys, how deep are the problems and what are they?
Well, I think the problems are
plenty.
There are plenty. I hesitate to blame the offensive line today because it felt to me
7 quarterback sacks.
It felt to me like Caleb Williams was back to holding it a long, long time. 4 straight third down sacks. I want to look at this tape and talk to people who look at this tape. What were the patterns? At one point, there was one replay they showed where there was like 4 or maybe even 5 targets in the same area.
Yeah.
Did you see that? But, I mean, there was a lot of times in this game today where I felt like Caleb had regressed in terms of holding it a long time. And I want to figure out exactly what the problems were offensively there. Defensively, horrific game planning. Kyle Shanahan is one of the best in the NFL and absolutely dominated Eric Washington. And that defensive line gave them nothing in terms of pressure.
A job too big for Chris Beatty, the offensive coordinator?
I mean, he's not calling the plays, so I don't know. I never understand what these guys do. If you're not calling the plays, then what exactly are you doing as an offensive coordinator? I'm still trying to figure that out. I remember Mark Helfrich was the offensive coordinator for his first offensive coordinator for Matt Nagy, and we spent the whole year trying to figure out what exactly he did. and I think it's the same thing with Chris Beatty. So I actually think that he gets a pass in all of this right now. So it's on Thomas Brown in terms of the play calling. The Bears' second drive of the game is a near Caleb Williams interception. It's a DJ Moore drop, and then it's a Matt Spiegel sack. The special right there.
Down.
Yeah, on the third down.
Oh, that's the special. That's how far we've dropped.
Exactly. So that sort of sets the template for it. But yeah, it's you know, you asked the question like what are the problems? Where aren't the problems at this point? Like every part of this team. There's not a single part of this team that hasn't regressed during this 7-game losing streak, well, except for maybe the punter. Maybe the punter, he had a 60-yarder and a 58-yarder to get it. Don't look at me like that.
That's just because it's sad.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Because you know that I'm feeling sad that we're talking about Torrey Taylor and how well he performed. I think there's a couple things you can look at when you're looking at the offense. I think one that stands out to me is obviously the loss of Roschon Johnson. When Thomas Brown was performing well with Caleb Williams, he was leaning on both running backs, right? Allowing it for Roschon to be the bruiser and then opening up the offense for the Chicago Bears. With him not being there and only leaning on DeAndre Swift, obviously that makes everything look wrong. And then the offensive line, I think you're absolutely right. You look at Brock Purdy running some of the same play actions that the Bears are running, and he has way more time than Caleb Williams does back there. Granted, he's taking the socks and has to get rid of them quickly, but I think offensive line play is something that obviously, if elevated, can help out this team if we're looking for solutions.
Something changed to me in terms of the quickness with which Caleb was getting the ball out today. And he was asked, and I listened very carefully, he said that everything was the same. Thomas said everything was the same in terms of the offensive coordinator getting him the plays on time and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe it's just a little bit more of a hero ball instinct from Caleb Williams.
No,
maybe
I agree.
A little too much.
No, I agree. Like in the answer, the way I interpreted his answer when he was talked about all of that is that it's a work in progress at this point, that it is different, that now he is on the field. One other thing, too, about the defense, it felt to me like Eric Washington was expecting San Francisco to run, when it's almost like he was ill-prepared for the possibility that San Francisco would have a bunch of motion and misdirection because that's what San Francisco does. It didn't feel like he had his guys ready for that.
Didn't feel like he was ready.